part 3. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا يحيى خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا وحنانا من لدنا وزكاة وكان تقيا وبرا بوالديه ولم يكن جبارا عصيا وسلام عليه يوم ولد ويوم يموت ويوم يبعث حيا. Allah Rabbul Alamin is saying, we said, O Yahya or John, hold on to the scripture firmly while he was still a boy. But this is an interesting transition here. We granted him the wisdom. So this is one of the blessings. If a child gets the wisdom, this is the blessings of Allah Rabbul Alamin. And while he was a boy, he was instructed, hold on to the scripture. That's an amazing. So probably prophethood at the very early stage. Now then Allah Rabbul Alamin is giving us the quality of a child, the beautiful quality of a child, or we can say the quality of a righteous child. Why righteous? Because at the start of the chapter, his father Zakaria alayhi salam made a dua that, oh Allah, give me a righteous child. And this is the answer. This is a reflection, not the answer. This is a reflection, because the answer was given in another chapter. Now Allah Rabbul Alamin is continuing. First, وَحَنَانًا مِن لَدُنَّا. Hanan, the word Hanan means tenderness. I just go through all the meanings. Gentleness, softness, kindness. So who has a good, soft and light touch or heart, who possesses that quality is called Hanan or Hani. That is the exact grammatical meaning. Allah Rabbul Alamin, on top of Hanan, he said Min ladunna, which means from us. And Mufassir is saying that it is an extra level of tenderness over whatever tenderness someone can conceive. What does it really mean? That this should be the first quality of a child, of a Muslim. The tenderness, the softness, the gentleness, the muamalat, or what we can say the what manners. That's the main definition of manners, right? That's why Imam Malik, when someone used to go him, the parents used to give him the son or daughter, the child to teach Quran. For the first 1 year, he used to teach them the manners. Now, actually, right now, the Muslim society is devoid of the manners. We have everything, other things, but manners are really a missed out property. May Allah Rabbul Alamin grant our generation. This is the first quality of manners. Second, and purity, zakah. Now, this is not the zakah of charity. This zakah means purity of heart. So free from jealousy, free from arrogance, free from any sort of bad qualities in the heart, right? And so on, like trustworthiness. So if someone is not trustworthy, then what's the point? So this is basically the purity, which is devoid of any such bad qualities of heart. And then taqiyya. Taqiyya came from muttaqi, we know that fear of Allah. So he was devout towards Allah. So look at the sequences. Allah Rabbul Alamin gave everything for a particular purpose. So if we look at the sequences, first tenderness, softness, second purity of heart, so cleaning the heart, and third is devotion to rituals. And we probably do the opposite order. That's an interesting insight from here. If we look at the sequences, this is exactly the sequences. First is the tenderness, gentleness or the manners. Second is the purity or cleaning the heart. And the third is devout to Allah. Okay, and then the quality continuing is that, and kind to his parents. And kind to his parents, right? So all these are essential qualities and very important qualities. Now the kind to his parents, Allah Rabbul Alamin explained it more. in the subsequent words, which is what? Kindness to his parents, not domineering nor rebellious. So in any stage, he doesn't become rebel to the parents. They always listen to the parents. They always be kind to the parents. They always be gentle to the parents, and so on. And then, what is the reply from Allah? What is the reward from Allah? Amazing reward is coming here. That peace be on him. Allah Rabbul Alamin is sending salam to that Nabi on the day he was born. So the day he was born, Allah Rabbul Alamin is sending salam to Yahya. The day he died, and if you look at the history, he was actually, he was killed brutally. He was in the prison, and we know that the Herod, one of the king, who was a pet, you can say a puppet of the Roman empires, he was from the Bani Israel, he was the king, he actually killed him in the jail, inside the jail. His head was cut off, and it was presented as a dish. Allah Rabbul Alamin is saying that that day is the blessed day. Allah Rabbul Alamin is sending peace on him on that particular day, right? And the day when he'll be raised up on the day of judgment. So Allah Rabbul Alamin is guaranteeing, giving the salam on the day he will be raised. So what a successful prophet quality of a child who had these four qualities. One is the tenderness, second is the purity of hearts, third, he was devoted to Allah, and fourth, he was kind, he was dutiful to the parents. So if any child has these four qualities, he doesn't need to worry. Probably he will be receiving the salam from Allah and the angels and so on, right? We can expect that. Then after a few verses, Allah Rabbul Alamin is saying another prophet, the story of another prophet. So the first story was, he was a child. Allah Rabbul Alamin is praising him, Yahya, right? And this story is about Ibrahim alayhi salam, and this is another conversation with Ibrahim and his father. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, that time he was grown up, and he was talking. Waskur fil kitabi Ibrahim innahu kana siddiqan nabiyya. إذ قال لأبيه يا أبت لم تعبد ما لا يسمع ولا يبصر ولا يغني عنك شيئا يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاتبعني أهدك صراطا سويا. And mention in the book, O Prophet, the story of Ibrahim. He was surely a man of truth and a prophet. Remember when he said to his father, "Oh my dear father." So the word is interesting. Ya abati. Now this word, it has a unique grammatical interpretation. Because abati is a feminine in terms of, masculine or feminine is the feminine part, but abun definitely father. What does it really mean? It's a unique grammatical imposition, which means that he was asking his father in such a tone that it is close to he's like a mom. So in a very most beautiful way. He could say abun or abi or anything, right? But he used that particular tone. Now we'll try to explain that after a while. That is very interesting linguistic gem. He said, "Oh my dear father, why do you worship what can neither hear nor see nor benefit you all?" Now who was he? He was the chief priest of the king, Nimrod. So you can imagine the wealth, the prestige, the honor of his father. So he was one of the most prestigious people in that society, because he was maintaining all the idols in the church. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was addressing him that, why do you worship, right? And he said, continuing, that, "Oh my dear father, ya abati," repeatedly. I mean, in Quran, we don't see the repetition more often. But it is saying that every sentence he addressed in the most beautiful way to his father. Ya abati, "Oh my dear father, I have certainly received some knowledge which you have not received. So follow me, and I will guide you to the straight path." "Oh my dear father," repeatedly Ya abati is coming. That's an amazing kind of tone. "Do not worship shaitan. Surely shaitan is ever rebellious against the most compassionate Allah. Oh my dear father, I truly fear that you will be touched by a torment from the most compassionate and become shaitan's companion in the hell." Now, interesting, he didn't say a torment from Allah. So every word, using every word in Quran has a reason. So which means that the torment is coming from the most compassionate, Ar-Rahman. So if you ask forgiveness, he'll forgive you. So in everything, every sentence, there is a guidance. He threatened, now he's saying, Qala, he threatened, his father threatened Ibrahim, "How dare you reject my idols? O Ibrahim, you do not desist." Now he didn't say, "Oh my son." No, I mean, for everything there are explanation. He said Ibrahim because he's trying to get distance from his son. Otherwise he could say, "My son," because he was addressing, "Oh my dear father," right? "O Ibrahim, if you do not desist, if you do not stop, I will certainly stone you to death," right? So be gone from me for a long time. The word that is used is maliya. The word maliya means, it's a linguistic, again another linguistic gem, which means that be distant from me for a long time. So go away for a long time. That is the word. And in Arabs, for a long time means forever, right? Forever. So I completely, I mean, you just get out from my house, you will not get any of my wealth or anything. So he was basically, he got out from the house. Now, after that, what he replied? Qala salamun alayka. Now, this is interesting that he said, Ibrahim responded, "Peace be upon you, alayka, upon you." In general, in Surah Furqan, there are beautiful instructions for the believers that if someone say bad words, you can leave that place with salam. But he's saying the salamun alayka, additional thing, that, "Oh my father, salam on you." Now, not only that, he's saying that I will pray for you, I will ask istighfar for you, additional thing, right? For your forgiveness, and Allah has been truly most gracious to me. He is most gracious to me. And that is the similar tone of Zakaria salam's dua. When he was saying that, "Oh Allah, you always accepted all my duas," right? So similar tone is here, that, "Oh Allah, you are always most gracious to me. Allah is always most gracious to me, so I'll ask forgiveness for you. So inshallah Allah will accept. As I distance from myself all of you from whatever you invoke besides Allah." So whatever we got, the lessons is that we got two examples in Surah Maryam about the dutifulness of son in different stage of life to his father, and in the most beautiful. And now, just a quick exposition of the Ya Abati, the word. In Quran, 64 times Abba, or forefathers, that word came, 64 times. 46 times Abun, which means father, came. 7 times Abba one came. And Ya Abati came 8 times only. So among all these 4 words that is used for fathers, the most gentle, the most compassionate word is the Ya Abati. Now, all these 8 words came with the prophets only. Now, what does it really mean? That I can address my father in any way. I can address my father, "Oh my father." It doesn't matter. I can address that. But the best person, the best child, will address him in the most beautiful way. And that is the gem. That this particular word always used by the prophets. For example, Yusuf alayhi salam addressed with Ya Abati. Ibrahim alayhi salam addressed with Ya Abati. Yaqub alayhi salam addressed his father as Ya Abati. The daughter of Shoaib alayhi salam, to whom Musa alayhi salam married, we know that story. That daughter also addressed his father as Ya Abati in a most polite, most kind way, right? And Ismail alayhi salam addressed his father as Ya Abati. That's it. So that's the use of the Ya Abati by the best of the people, best of the humanity. And if you want to be the best, we try to mimic them, copy them. Aqulu qawli hadha wastaghfiru innahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. Okay, please, if possible, you can come here. You can come. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala sayyidil mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallim. Now we heard about the duty of the child to the father. Now the opposite, in terms of the opposite order, how the parent should treat. We got an example of a bad parenting from the father of Ibrahim. His son was addressing to him, his father, Ibrahim alayhi salam was addressing his father as Ya Abati, oh my dear father, but he said, oh Ibrahim, right? That is an example of being distant from the father. Plus, he told that, okay, you are kicked out from the house, right? He was kicked out basically from the house. That's an example of bad parenting. It doesn't bring any good, basically. Even in this life. Even in this life, it doesn't bring any good. Now, we see an example in Surah Al-Hud from the life of Nuh alayhi salam. Just very quickly, I'll go through and I'll finish it off. Now, we know the story of Nuh alayhi salam. I don't want to go through in details, which is that he was building the ark, a big boat, big ship, and everyone will be drowned. We know that story, right? And when the rain started, it was said in Quran that Allah Rabbul Alamin opened the sky for rain. So it was a huge amount of rain. And the word came like the water became like a wave. So it's a huge waves are coming in. So on that particular moment, when he was on the boat, on the ark, Nuh alayhi salam, with his companions, he didn't notice that time even, but he saw in the mountain his son is waiting there. Now we need to think about the scene and try to reflect that in our lives. And this is really, really very vital in the West. It can happen to anyone, because everyone will go through the test of life, right, in a different way. Now he was saying that it was like a mountains. The waves are like mountains, right? And that moment, he saw his son. Nuh alayhi salam saw his son from the ark. He said, وَنَادَى نُوحٌ ابْنَهُ وَكَانَ فِي مَغْزِلٍ. Now the word is nada. Now remember that when Zakaria asked to Allah, he used that word nada. Nada means in a very polite way, in a very crying mode, asking something. It's not like I'm asking you something. It's like I'm begging you. Please give me that. Zakaria was asking for a son, and he was begging to Allah. He was crying to Allah. So the same word is used here. Interesting, very interesting point. The Nuh alayhi salam is begging his son what? That he cried out. The translation is called out, but exact meaning should be he cried almost. Who stood alone in the mountain, that he said, Ya Bunayya, oh my dear son. So look at the tone. Oh my dear son, board with us, come to my boat. So if a son tells that, okay, I'll get out, I'll not be with you, that's just a scenario, I'm just trying to figure it out, then the parent should behave in exactly the same way. He should be kind till the end, whatever he can. And this is one of the best lessons, but we should not let it happen into that level. So from the very early stage, when the child will be grown up, we should have that in mind, that we cannot do the parenting the way Ibrahim alayhi salam's father did the parenting, right? That was not a parenting at all. So he was saying that, oh my dear son, board with us and do not be with the faithless. Second advice, so don't be with the bad companions, don't be with the bad people. So the instruction is not that, okay, you stay as it is. No, no, no. He's saying that you come with me, I'll look after you. You'll be in the board, you'll be safe, I'll provide you the food, I'll provide you the shelter. Till end, I'll do. I know that you are the worst, you are not praying, you are not doing any duties to Allah, but still, you are my son, you are my daughter, you'll be here, you'll be with me. So he was crying till end, if we look at this particular point. And then he said, the son replied, I shall take refuge on a mountain and it will be protected, I'll be protected. He said, when he found that there is no hope, then he said, there is none today who can protect you from Allah's verdict except someone upon whom Allah has shown mercy. Then the waves came between them and he was among those who was drowned. Which means that the beloved Prophet Nuh alayhi salam tried till end to take him home. So whatever happens to any son, any daughter, till end we should be acting like Nuh alayhi salam did, right? And that is one of the lesson. May Allah Rabbul Alamin accept us. Aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfiruhu innahu ala kulli shay'in qadir.